Homeschooled, so I'm a bit of an unusual case. I didn't see like school violence the same way a lot of people did. I mean, the idea of people actually, getting into physical fights all the time was kind of shocking to me. I mean, you'd see it on TV and stuff. I'm like, well, real people aren't like that, right? Apparently, it really depends on where you are. From what I've heard, in some schools, it's just the culture there. In some schools, it's just not. In terms of how it is today, I've heard mixed things. I've heard that reduction in students being outside, in nature and having things to do that will occupy their minds tends to lead them towards being more violent as children. And then they just take out all of their boredom, frustration, etc. on each other. But all I have is really hearsay.
It's something we hear all the time. So, I guess my immediate answer would be yes. I'm not sure if it's just more reported now or if it occurs more. To answer your question, I'm going to go with yes, though. I'm not sure what the cause is or what to do about it exactly. But so
not necessarily. I do not. I think it's now we just have media that covers it fairly quickly. It spreads easier, and a lot more people hear about it. So I think no, I don't think there's more now than what there used to be. I think it's always been there.
I think so, or maybe we just hear about it more. That could be the case, but I think a lot of cultural influences. I know they have a thing about video games are violent, so that it has influences too. So I think so, but I also think it could be skewed because now we just hear about more situations.
Not necessarily. I think it's just more speculation. There's no correlation between youth violence and nowadays. Police, I don't know. I wouldn't say they're more violent. Yeah.
Why do you think that?
More people try to do the music they hear, and the music they hear is pretty violent. So they try to act like that, and now it's a competition who can be the most violent. And that's why it's getting worse.
Yeah, I would say yes because the media. A lot of kids nowadays are exposed to things that we weren't exposed to as kids. When we were kids, things wouldn't come on TV before 9 o'clock. The shows were different. Things like Grand Theft Auto. I mean, we did have Grand Theft Auto. We were somewhere around middle school, but kids are now being exposed to it when they're in elementary.
Yeah, because again, there's bullying and kids are more violent nowadays because when we were growing up, everyone was friends. I don't remember anyone getting bullied per se and things like that. It was just, we found better ways to express our anger and stuff like that. We'd talk it out, not have fights and everything. Now it's in high school, fights break out all the time. And people will run and go see that, but for good things, everyone's just oh, it's okay. Doesn't matter. So, yeah, they're violent.
I don't really know. I'm because it's you sit there, things are different, back then, we didn't have iPods and stuff and violent video games, so I went to private school, so I don't really know.
I'll say yes, the groups today are more prone to be violent to one another because they're exposed to the media that are very violent these times compared to when I was little.
I agree. Youth are more violent nowadays. You hear more about school shootings at younger ages. We play fall as kids, but nowadays it's blatant violence. Kids are being hospitalized by one another. They're attacking teachers, parents. We just didn't hear that.
I'm not sure. I think the violence has always been there. It's just a matter of it being more televised in the media. I mean, even back in you know, when my parents were growing up, I think bullying was still there. I think it's just now that we're learning the negative effects that it brings to us and to the youth.
And why? Why do you think that?
I think we have more technology and things to make us into fights